Hello there, friends. Welcome back to another episode of Generation Tech. My name is Alan. We finally find out in the last episode of The Bad Batch why people are after Omega. Spoiler warning for the next minute. We found out that the Kaminoans are one of the interested parties who want to recover her. Lama Su, the Prime Minister, was the one who hired Cad Bane, and Nala Se was the one who hired Fennec Shand. Both of these individuals want Omega. Lama Su wants Omega because she has the original Fett DNA in her. This is important because pure original copies of the Fett DNA are quite rare, and all of the other genetic samples left are beginning to degrade. And now that Jango Fett is dead and Boba Fett is missing, Omega is the key to the Kaminoans' continued prosperity and survival, which is directly linked to the clone trooper contract they have with the Empire. Lama Su wants Omega to essentially be harvested for her DNA and then just killed. That's something Nala Se doesn't want to happen, which is why she sends out Fennec Shand to save Omega and keep her out of harm's way. But we all know that Nala Se is a cold, heartless dolphinkin. After all, she was completely cool with killing Tup when his inhibitor chip malfunctioned. She was also the one who drugged Fives when he was about to uncover the inhibitor chip conspiracy. So what could be Nala Se's reason for saving Omega? Is it because she's one of the mutated clones? Does she have some kind of special enhancement, like Hunter's perception, or Tech's brain, or Wrecker's strength, and Crosshair's eyesight? Well, my theory is that Omega has heightened emotional intelligence. Now, that might not seem like a big deal for a lot of you guys out there. It might not seem like a real superpower. But for someone who lacks emotional intelligence, the social world can be a very difficult place to navigate. And for someone with Omega's level of empathy and emotional intelligence, well, these kind of abilities can open up new doors and pathways that weren't there before. And so today we'll be taking a look at how Omega's superpower of empathy has basically helped her in Clone Force 99. If you think about it, the fact that Clone Force 99 even accepts Omega is pretty surprising. These were clones that didn't even get along with regular clones, let alone a small child who has nothing in common with them whatsoever. Omega seems to be a super fan of Clone Force 99 though. Perhaps Nala Se pushed Omega's curiosity towards them because she wants Clone Force 99 to protect her. But ultimately, it's really the work Omega puts in with each individual member of Clone Force 99 that makes the unit accept her. It all starts with a lunch food fight that Omega starts. Echo gets caught in the melee and is knocked out. He wakes up connected to tubes and sensors which really freak him out. During the Clone Wars, he was seriously injured and captured by the Separatists who made serious alterations to his body, and he clearly still has some trauma from that experience. Now, Omega happens to be in the recovery room when Echo wakes up, and she immediately tosses a medical droid aside and begins to comfort Echo. At no point does she appear afraid of Echo's appearance. She accepts him as a friend and also as a patient. She tries to relate to Echo by telling him that she also has a dislike of being connected to machines and tubes and stuff like that. Anyway, Omega's appearance does seem to calm Echo quite a lot.
It's okay. It's me, Omega. I understand. I don't like being hooked up to their machines either.
Echo is probably not used to this kind of treatment. Usually clones are taken care of by other droids or Kaminoans, not human children like Omega. This is going to be an experience that Echo remembers, and it's going to help him grow closer to Omega. And more importantly, this is Omega's first connection with a member of Clone Force 99. When Clone Force 99 gets arrested later on for failing to execute Saw Gerrera's partisans and a bunch of civilians, Omega is thrown into the brig with the rest of the clones because they found her snooping around their locker room. Crosshair, who is heavily suffering from the effects of the inhibitor chip, is confused and a bit upset about the situation. He believes that Hunter is leading their unit in the wrong direction and against the orders of Palpatine. But there's still a part of him that's very loyal to the only friends and family he ever had. Omega approaches Crosshair in the prison cell, and she immediately empathizes with him and tells him that it's not his fault what's happening. It's almost as if Omega knows about the inhibitor chip's effects and how it's really causing this internal turmoil inside of Crosshair.
I know it's not your fault. You can't help it.
Anyway, this conversation draws a smile from Crosshair's face, and soon after he's taken away by the clones, and his inhibitor chip's power is increased. Crosshair does try to kill Omega in Clone Force 99 later on, but hopefully The small amount of kindness and understanding that Omega gives him is enough to turn him around somewhere down the road. Wrecker is the first guy to warm towards Omega. He also is kind of a simple individual who gets along with most of the children he sees. Perhaps that's because he has more in common with kids than he does with adults. He really seems to like it when Omega starts a food fight against some Regs, who insulted Clone Force 99. But what makes Wrecker really warm up to Omega happens later during their escape from the holding cell. While everyone is putting on their armor and collecting weapons and gear, Wrecker is frantically searching for something. That something happens to be Lola, his stuffed animal. And Omega is the one who finds it. She knows through intuition and her empathy that Lola is important to Wrecker. Wrecker unfortunately ends up getting shot by Crosshair before Omega can bring him the doll. But later, as he's getting first aid treatment, Omega finally does bring Lola, which of course brings the two closer together. Now, Hunter is uneasy about Omega. It's not that he doesn't like her, he just feels completely out of his element and unprepared to take care of a small child. I mean, he's really struggling to keep his entire unit afloat since they left the Empire in the first place. Hunter also has high expectations. If Omega wants to be treated like a member of the squad, she has to prove to him that she's capable. When the Havoc Marauder crash lands on a random moon, an Ordo moon dragon steals one of the ship's capacitors. Hunter and Omega end up going after the creature to get the part back. Omega seems to like to shadow Hunter. She kind of mimics the way he moves and walks, and it's endearing and adorable. Unfortunately, Hunter does get attacked by the Ordo moon dragon and his rebreather falls off, causing him to collapse. Omega stabilizes Hunter by putting his mask back onto his face. What happens next is both brave and a great showcase of Omega's empathy. She decides to continue on into the Ordo Moon Dragon's cave all by herself. In a scene that's very reminiscent of another Star Wars heroine who goes into a cave to find a monster, Omega manages to use her empathy to connect with what the creature actually wants. And so instead of being eaten by the creature or being forced to kill the creature herself, Omega realizes that the creature just wants the flashlight in exchange for the capacitor. It seems like Omega's empathy doesn't just extend towards human beings, but also to creatures and monsters. Now, most people, including myself, probably would have been terrified and frozen in fear. We might have even pulled out our blaster and shot the dragon, which probably would have led to our demise. Anyway, after this incident occurs, Hunter begins treating Omega like a member of the team. And it's a good thing they do because Clone Force 99 is severely lacking in many ways. Ever since they left the Empire, they no longer have logistical support, intel, or even like equipment and weapon support. Now, Clone Force 99 has to operate like independent contractors, and they have to deal with a lot of sketchy and strange people. Echo remembers a fixer who worked with the Jedi during the Clone Wars. Unfortunately, all he has is a name, Sid, and the bar in which Sid can be found. When Clone Force 99 arrives to that bar, they're told to shove off by the Trandoshan barkeep. But Omega somehow quickly realizes that the Trandoshan is Sid. Somehow she was able to observe how Sid reacted to the clones and figure out exactly who she is. This shows that Omega has a remarkable way with sentient beings and can detect the smallest movements and expressions in others that most people wouldn't pick up on. This skill that Omega has will end up helping Clone Force 99 a lot because I'm sure they're going to have to meet even more sketchy individuals. And for now, Sid seems to be the only person giving them any work to do. When Clone Force 99 meets up with Captain Rex, the famous ARC trooper who escaped Order 66, Omega and Rex immediately study each other. Omega looks closely at Rex's face and determines that he's a first-generation clone. This is because of the lines in his face. This observation makes Rex smile and like Omega immediately. A few minutes later, when Wrecker complains about a headache and the rest of Clone Force 99 admits that they haven't removed their inhibitor chips yet, Rex becomes wary and reaches for his blaster. He then surprisingly puts himself in between Omega and the rest of the Bad Batch. Although we know that Clone Force 99 wouldn't willingly hurt Omega, if their inhibitor chips did go off, it might not be safe to be around them anymore. And now, if anything does happen to the boys, Captain Rex has made an important connection with Omega, and that's partly because Omega impressed him right off the bat with her ability to read his face. And shortly after, when Wrecker does turn on Omega and she's unable to gun him down, it is Captain Rex who saves her life and stuns Wrecker from the back. When Cad Bane comes for Omega, not even Hunter can stop him. Which isn't surprising because Cad Bane has dueled top Jedi and beaten the top mercs in the galaxy in one-on-one fighting. But the one weak spot that Cad Bane's organization has is his little servant droid, Toto 360. Now, you might remember Toto 360 from the Clone Wars, when Cad Bane makes his audacious holocron heist in the Jedi Temple Library. During the heist, Cad Bane uses Toto 360 as a decoy, and essentially makes him a ticking time bomb. Toto 360 is rebuilt by Cad Bane, and for some reason, he still remains loyal to Cad Bane. Maybe he's had a memory wipe. During the shootout between Cad Bane and Hunter, when Bane's shot finds Hunter's chest piece, his own blaster shot takes off Toto 360's leg. A leg that Cad Bane never bothers to fix. Omega sees an opening. She makes Toto 360 question whether Bane actually cares for him. She also offers to help reattach Toto 360's leg, something that the little droid is having problems with himself. It seems like Omega struck a nerve when she mentioned how badly Bane treats the droid. And so eventually Toto 360 unlocks Omega's prison cell and allows her to fix his leg, which she does, but shortly after she also knocks him out unconscious and manages to escape. Omega shows us that you don't just need brawn or force powers to survive and succeed in the Star Wars galaxy, you can also use empathy. And that empathy will take you a long way, because if you can't do something on your own, your empathy might make connections with other people who will help you reach your goal. Anyway, let me know what you think about my list in the comment section below. Maybe I've missed some other points and where Omega's empathy really came in handy. And also don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button down below so you don't miss out on the rest of our Bad Batch coverage. And as usual, thanks for joining us today. If you're watching this, you are Generation Tech.